Hey, good morning to those of you out there on the West Coast. Good afternoon to those of you here on the East Coast with me. We're going to get started in today's training in just a second on HHS and steps you can take to start pushing into that agency doing business with HHS. I'm excited to talk about that. I appreciate you engaging in chat. Hey, Fred, thanks for doing that. I was going to share a tip. I like sharing a tip at the start of the training for those showing up early and on time as a way to say thank you. And my tip was going to be about Amazon, which I might slide in, but I want to do another tip that is out there. Sometimes you do something and you expect a certain result and you don't get it, and you judge yourself or you judge the effort that your company's doing by that activity. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is to determine the right things to do, right? You want to do the right thing the right way and enough of the right things. So determine the right thing. You and your team, hey, what are we doing? We're going to do this activity. We're going to pick up the phone. We're going to go to events. We're going to do whatever. But then do it long enough for something to be able to give you real results. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm almost always starting off my lives with over 100 people now who are in here. And usually we push up into the 200, 300, and 400 people live with us. And today I'm looking and I see the number says 27. And I know that it's not me. I have confidence in doing this. And this is what I want you to do as well, is know that if you're doing the right thing, sometimes you're going to have down days or you're going to experience down results. I'm going to reach out to 10 government contracting personnel and nobody's going to get back to me. Well, don't feel like you're doing something wrong or you're unwanted. Just feel like nobody got back to you. Because like me, on my lives here, yesterday, we had like 200 people in, and right midway, there was this bam drop. And it wasn't like a whole bunch of people said, I'm out of here, because we consistently have people here the whole training. What it was LinkedIn's having problems. And because they had a problem yesterday, I realized they're probably having problems today. Who cares? I'm here for the training. Whoever's able to be here with me, I'm excited to work with you and to train you today. But just keep that in mind. As you run forward, you're going to have up days and down days. Just keep doing what you know is right, and you're going to have successful days. All right, so that was just a tip for those of you showing up early and on time. Thanks for doing that. We're going to get started on today's training around HHS. And usually I share slides. If you're not familiar, I share slides. Today I'm not going to, because I'm going to be going into the browser and I'm going to show you HHS and some other stuff. But I just want to kind of set the pace. If you want to do business with any agency, but HHS in particular today, then you need to get to know them. You need to have some sort of process you're following in there. One of the best examples is to sit there and we call it research, right? So if you haven't ever seen my 7-step process, I might show that at some point. And when I say some point, I might actually show it right now, because I think I got a picture of it sitting right here. Let me turn my camera off. So right here is the 7-step process, right? And it begins with research and moves forward to targeting, outreach, et cetera. You can come back and watch other training. But my point is, everything on success for you is about research. You want to be able to start with research, whether you're doing business development into an agency or you're doing capture. It begins with research, understanding that agency, understanding that opportunity and the people in the organization that goes around that opportunity. And so in today's training, I really wanted to walk you through as much as I can. I got 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes now. But I want to cover down on what I think is the most important things in an agency that you're trying to target, like HHS. The first main thing is about relationships. And so you want to get found by the federal buyers. I want to talk about that. The second thing I want to talk about is how to find federal buyers, people within HHS. And the third main thing I'm going to talk about are opportunities. How do you find opportunities and see what's coming down the pike that you might be able to fit into? Those three should cover the entire training time. I might go a little bit off track just because there's so much information to share, and I might do that. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonald. I am the president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to my federal sales training, where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years in the federal market as a small business owner, and since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret, it's just a process. When we follow a process A to Z, we're going to have repeatable, predictable results. That's what I want for you. That's why I do this training, and so I'm so happy that you're here with me. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our newsletter. It's called the Government Success Newsletter or Government Contracting Success Newsletter. We have a ton of great information we're putting out in there, and I'd love to be able to have you track it. An example of a piece of information is something I might show you in a minute. Is I put out a newsletter about doing business with HHS that has all these tips. Some of the ones I'm going to share today, they have them in there, and we put a lot of that information out there. And really the big reason I do this is because the whole time I was a government contractor, I spent so much time searching for something, but then nobody benefited from the activity that I did, right? So what I try to do is save you time. What we try to do in the GovCon chamber is just save you time, hours and hours, hundreds of hours, basically through all the teaching we do. And so in the newsletter, you get really a lot of time saving and valuable tips in there. The other thing is, if you haven't done so already, register for tomorrow, the next day, and the next day's training on LinkedIn, right? We do this training on LinkedIn and other social media platforms, but on LinkedIn, you can come in and register and let us know you're coming. When you do, LinkedIn pushes the word out to other people. It's a simple thank you that you can do for us, and so we really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the training. Let me just share my screen here really quick. Okay, so let me go there, hide that guy for a second. Here's the GovCon chamber. It's just a clean splash screen. Go check us out when you get a chance. And this is the newsletter I meant, Government Contracting Success Newsletter. Come join 15,735 other government contracting personnel, people in all sorts of spaces, industry, federal government, and those organizations like the SBA and the PTEX, et cetera, who support you. So the reason this is a great place for me to just start is this is an example of the newsletter, and I'm going to go through some of this. But this is, when you go into the newsletter, I've got all these other things I've shared that I'm not going to cover today, where I was talking about when you want to understand an organization like HHS, check out their org chart, really understand how they're structured, right? They have multiple sub-agencies or agencies underneath HHS. And so understand that. Understand their goals and objectives and their challenges, pain points, by looking at their strategic plan, their annual report. There's something called a management challenges document you can find, which is just complete gold because it tells you the challenges they're facing and basically how industry can help, right? So a lot of other good stuff in here as you move forward. And I'm going to cover a good portion of it. So let me just come back up. And so one other newsletter article that I had put in here, and I'm going to cover this in 2 seconds, is HHS has their own supplier portal. So this is where we're going to start, right? How do you get found by federal buyers? In this case, how do you get found by HHS? HHS has a portal that they make available to industry, obviously, but to their own internal buyers. This portal is designed to be able to make it easier for HHS buyers and any of the agencies to be able to find small businesses like yours that say they want to support HHS. And so in this article, I lay out a whole bunch of tips on exactly how to move forward. And this was a month or so ago, but I do want to point this out, right? This one thing here, inside this portal, right? This is women-owned small businesses. Inside of DSBS, there's 94,000 self-certified women-owned businesses, but only 3,000 are in HHS, right? SDVOs, there's 32,000. There's only 1,400. Hub zones, 4,000 hub zones, but only about 1,000 of them are in HHS. And so you can see these numbers if you're reading it. 8A, 5,000 8A or 6,000 8As basically with the JVs in there, and only 1,600 are in HHS. But HHS is very friendly to 8A and small businesses, right? And so overall, when you look at small businesses, there's 330. Well, now there's about 335,000 because 4,000 since the last time I did this, 4,000 have expired. But 335,000 companies, small businesses active in DSBS, but only 6,000 are in HHS. That is crazy, right? We small businesses need to make sure. And so if you come over here, you can walk through the whole portal and figure it out. You want to come in here. And one of the first things I would recommend you do is just come in here. I'm going to take the liberty of typing in one of my customers. But if you just come in and type Graham, let's see if they're in there. Type your company. Hey, that was weird, huh? If you type Graham, so now I can come in and I can see that Graham is right there. And I'm like, hey, that's my company. And just confirming, right? If I come in here, I look down, there's Kami and LaShawn and Nina. These are the leaders on the sales side and supporting HHS. So I can come in here. Well, you can do the same thing, right? Just come in and type your company name in there, and it takes you 2 seconds. If you come back to my article when you get a chance, let me scroll down a little bit. You don't have to do this now, right? But I've got step-by-step guide for registering in HHS. And so you can follow this down as you move forward, and it really makes the process quick. I think I said it's like less than 5 minutes to register. But when you register, and let me back this guy up, when you register, you're in this database. Let me show you another way. So right here, I can search by keywords, and let's say I'm looking for American. I don't know if this is going to work. It's live. American Sign Language. This is always dangerous when you do something live. But American Sign Language, right? If I type it in, I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, look at that. So that's just a bug in the feature. It turns out you can't actually search from that home page. But if I hit search again, where did it go? Let me try this again. Look at that. That's weird. That's all the companies. It's not actually searching for some reason. I might move on if their tool's not working totally. Okay, so there we go. So if I searched ASL and I scroll down, let's see how many. So there's 9 companies, right, with ASL. And the first thing I can see is that for some reason it's not pulling up Graham, which is that company I just showed you. And that's their one of the main things they do is sign language. And so I'm telling them, hey, let's go back and make sure we're filling out that profile correctly. And then, if you wanted to search for, let's say you were trying to go into, let me get rid of that. That was my old company name. But if you're looking for HubZone companies that are in your space, right? When we type this, here's the filter on HubZones. And say you're trying to find a teaming partner to go after a HubZone opportunity. This directory works both ways. Imagine if the federal buyer inside of HHS is trying to find you, they can type that kind of information. So coming back, this one here, I wish I could put it into the chat. Maybe somebody can do this for me, is put this one HHS buyers is looking for small business contractors, put it in the chat so you can go after it. But this is a good one so that you can get registered. When you register, now buyers are going to start finding you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you can find buyers. And there's all sorts of ways to do that, but I just want to show you a couple of highlight ones. I can show you how to search, but today I'd like to get you faster to the destination of what I want to show you. But if I was looking for somebody, I would just start by typing in small business or contracting or maybe the organization I'm trying to find. And I'll show you in a minute more ways. But because I have this newsletter already, I can just come in here and I can come down and show you that inside of HHS, if I click on that link, hopefully it's doing what I want it to, I can come in and see HHS's POCs. Where are they? Here they go. So if I can come down, Shannon Jackson is basically the OSBU over there. I'm able to see, the people in, looks like the headquarter office, right? And then as you start coming down, here's the different agencies like ACF and the Healthcare Research Quality, CDC, CMS. I can come in and start seeing it. And these people, excuse me, these people are super helpful, super busy, right? You look at some of these people like Anita, who's over at, well, she's at CMS, but I thought she was at NIH as well. There she is. She's down. So she's doing double duty, as are some of the other small business professionals at HHS. But right here, HHS is making it easy for me to find it. If I haven't been in there before, this is a great place for me to start. These are small business professionals, whatever their title is, basically small business professionals, right? Another great thing to keep in mind is if you're already kind of have some traction, keep these people as basically your board of advisors for HHS. If I was trying to do a lot of business in CDC, I would be talking to Gwen Miles all the time. Or when I say all the time, by the way, I mean touch base once a month. Or if she's doing an industry day or vendor outreach session, I would just attend it. So I'm constantly on her radar. So she's aware not only of my company, but of my commitment to work with her and CDC. And so you never want to walk away from these people, even though you think about, they're just getting you in. And then once you're talking to the program office, you don't need them anymore. No, they're great advocates. And the more they know about you, the more they might be able to help put you in touch with a program office who's looking for a company like yours. And so this is one way of finding people, right? Another group that I had in here And I'm not going to show you unless I can see it really quickly here. But generally, I can't find it right away. But generally, you go in and find the head of contracting and the contracting people, and I can show you that in a second. But let me show you one more way of how I look for people. So here I just go to Google, right? I don't know if you can see. I'm going to zoom in up here. But I typed in a couple of different things before I really settled on this. And this is a really favorite tip of mine. It's just a process tip on how to search properly. So if you type in file type :PDF, the results you get back will only be PDF files. And so I could do the same thing with an image or with an MP4 or something. But PDFs are great because the government tends to put out information in PDF that they're trying to share. It's also the typical way I can find industry day slides, event slides, right? There's my process for how I do it in the back. And I don't mind people knowing what I do. The more people do what I do, the more we help each other in the industry. So anyways, I said, look, give me PDFs, show me HHS, and I'm looking for small business, right? I actually tried the word industry because I was looking for industry day, and I got almost 0 results in the first 20 things. And I said, forget it. So anyways, then I did this search, and I got some good results that I was looking for. So let me come in here really quick. This is the first one I got, and I pulled up, right? It was on those results in Google. And so this one is in the agency we're just looking at with children and family, right? And this was just in January. So first off, I'm like, yeah, I got a person's name. That's what you want sometimes when you're trying to get in. You want buyers to be able to find you, and you want to be able to find buyers, because then a relationship is going to happen when you pick up the phone and call them or email them. So here, you'll see this in a minute. He's the executive director of acquisition or head of contracting. And so it's golden, right? We'll come down to that in a second. So now I start going through this document pretty fast. And this is such good slides. I'm just going to go on a little bit. You can see some of this information, blah, blah, blah. I always share this, but I'm not looking to share it at the moment. Here's their spend, which is a really interesting thing when you look at how much they're spending, where they're spending it, because then you can go compare that to how much is going to smalls. But what I really want to get to is here. So these types of slides. So this is what I was saying is for children's and family, he is the head of contracting activity. If you're not familiar, that is a very important role. They're not so high that they're in the administration of an agency that they're not going to ever talk to you, but they're not in the day-to-day of opportunities. And so if you're struggling to get traction within an agency to talk to contracting staff, et cetera, these head of contracting activity are great people to talk to. They're also great people to just follow, right? So if you went on the LinkedIn, or if you just paid attention to what events he's speaking at, you can listen to him, hear it. You can gain some great insights. So then when you're talking to other people, you're benefiting from what he's sharing. And so you got a couple of other people, but this is what I meant by they're too high, right? So he is one of us. They're one of them kind of thing. The next slide coming down, it's the, oh man, hold on. Hate it when I get off my page thing. Okay, coming down, here's just helping you understand the leadership chain. And what we really care about is we're seeing where he fits in. And the part that I really like is he's fitting into the Office of Administration. I'm like, oh, I get that. Okay, the Government Contracting Services is falling under Office of Administration. Let me learn more about it. As I come down, it begins to expand out. And now we're in heaven, because now we're in the government contracting world. This man is in charge of basically contracting for this agency. And so now I can begin to see his team and who's running with different activities, right? And so if I want to get in and start learning about any of these programs, et cetera, these are the people I can build relationships with. Not fast. I'm talking about a 2-year journey. Right? If you want to sail in the next 3 months or before the end of the fiscal year, yes, you can meet with these people, but you're not really building fast relationships. But if you want to have a business that's growing 3, 4, 10 years out, 20 years out, then it starts by taking a slow roll into the relationships. But at least you know who's in there and who you can talk to. Coming down, though, it just continues. So he was the head of contracting activity for the agency. Then when you come down, you start seeing what people are focused on. Right. So if I look at some of these things, I'm an IT person. I can see Vinton Grant is the chief of contracting office for OCIO, the Office of Chief Information Officer. So now I'm able to find him right here. If I, excuse me, if I hover above that, which is funny, is his email address on the bottom. For me to find his phone number is literally a Google search. And so now I have a name, a title, an office, and a phone number and an email. What else do I need to make a call in there, right? He may or may not talk to me. It may or may not take weeks or months to get in there, but it starts with knowing who people are. Remember, the whole idea of relationships here is making sure they can find you. These people can find you through that portal. And so that you can find them, you want to begin to reach out and figure out names. So I'm going to pop down a couple more slides. Here it's just talking about things there. I was trying to get into some of the spend, right? So you can look at it. All right, just really quickly go into another one. This is the second result that came up, and this is basically this is a really recent slide. Even though we're May and this is November, this is very recent, right? Anything in the last 2 years is pretty much relevant in the government as today. And so here, though, my point was this is just another agency, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, 124 slides, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time popping down, but if you start coming down, right away, you start getting contact information. These are people who are in charge. I'm getting a phone number, an email. This is huge as you start trying to build your traction within agencies, right? Within HHS. This is just one part of HHS, right? And so as I go down, I can find a lot more, but I'm hoping you get the point. And those kind of journeys came from this one thing I want you to remember. Go to Google, type in file type PDF HHS small business. Here's why. I tried to find this information on HHS's site and I couldn't. I tried to find it on their small business site and I couldn't. It would be gold if they had just a whole running list of decks from anywhere within HHS and the agencies all in one place so we could just scroll and grab them, They don't currently do that. So go to my LinkedIn profile and I'll do it. Or I can just teach you how to do it on your own to any agency. All right, one other place that you can go that I like, and here I'm just jumping in for a second because it's not really delivering the results I want, which is too bad. But a lot of agencies put out these things called special notices telling us about industry days, vendor outreach sessions, or advanced planning briefs to industry, which is talking about a lot of different things the agency wants to communicate to industry. The reason you want to come into SAM is because generally when you go into something like this, where it's a 2024 APBI and advanced planning brief, this is today, tomorrow, or yesterday, today, and tomorrow, right? If HHS was like the greatest agency ever, when they were done, they would come in here and at the bottom in the attachments, they would put in the slides, which it turns out HHS might be the greatest session around, because you see here, it's got breakout sessions. I don't know if they actually did the PowerPoint deck. This would be pretty funny. And when I say funny, I mean exciting and cool, right? So give it 2 seconds, it's loading. But many, many agencies come in, no, this is just telling us what the breakouts are. This is cool and all, so you can know. But what I want is, I want to see them put the slides in here. Many agencies do. And so if you come in here, let me back up for 1 second. I want to show you how I did the search so you can do the search on your own. I could show you from scratch, but I'd rather just show you from already filled in, just watching my time. So here you see search, right? And you click on search on SAM.gov. The next thing you do is change the domain here to contract opportunities. It's blank when you start. Then when I come down, I actually did all words APBI. You could do different checks in there. You could also just call a small business specialist and say, hey, what do you typically do? For me, if I wanted to pick an agency, I would pick one. I actually picked it somewhere up here, I think. Where did it go? Well, could have sworn I picked HHS, but I can't see it. I don't know if I'm going blind. I'm sure I'm going blind, but that's a separate question. Anyways, then what I said is show me the past 3 months, right? So updated in the last 3 months. The notice type is special notice. That's what it's called. And that's where if they're going to put out slides and these other things, that's where they put them out. And the last thing is I just said, make sure it's active and inactive so I can find these. And so this is a great way for you to be able to find the information that's out there. Hey, really quickly, I wanted to share some exciting news. I'm really excited to be starting a new venture related to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce called GovCon in a Box. And this is going to be our AI play to address the challenges that I have seen from tens of thousands of small businesses I've been coaching for the last 6 years. Really address the challenges of building relationships, kind of like what I was just talking about, finding the slam dunk opportunities, these ones that absolutely will be winners for us, not just keywords, but the ones that align to what we do. This idea of our new system will be able to help you organize all the activity without overwhelming you with a lot of administrative tool sets. And then being found by buyers is huge. And so we got advanced capability in there for that. And the last thing is fundamentally what we're trying to do is build out a system that's going to help you win more contracts. Because I've been a business owner before. This is what we're looking for is growth. And so if you're interested in learning more about it, I'd love to talk to you about it. Just go to govconinabox.com. govconinabox.com. You'll see this page here. Succeeding as a government contractor should be easier. And I think you agree. All right. So let me go over to a couple other things I wanted to share. So if we come in, and actually let me come back to this guy. So if I come in here and I'm looking for different events, et cetera, one of the things you've got to do is to be able to just browse around inside of this place, because for HHS, they're not really sharing a ton out there. Hold on a second. Let me go in here. So here, this is one of the challenges I have, right? Where they've got these registrations for past events, but they're not really sharing the slides. But you can also see what's coming up in the next couple of months. And I don't know where it went. So here we go. So it expanded in there. So they've got a couple of more events that are coming out. These are ones you should go consider registering, especially if you can virtually attend an event. You can do something else while you're watching, so that if they're talking about 50% of what's not related to you, you can work. But when something's related, you won't miss it. You'll hear it that first day. Maybe you can follow back up, et cetera. And the last thing I just wanted to talk about was the long-range acquisition forecast. So right in here, actually, let me see if my link still works. And then I'm going to show you. I already have a tab open, but yeah, good. So here they've got the long-range acquisition forecast. I was going to show you that it's just sitting right here on the main page, right here at the bottom. So where you can find the directory, you can also find opportunities. But in here, you're able to come in and search for opportunities that'll be good fits for you. So an example is, let's say 541, 511. If I hit that, I'm able to come in and start looking at their opportunities. In this case, there's 386. That tells me there's probably not that many. And one of the challenges you have to do is go through and begin to filter it down to find stuff. But one of the things I like best about it is you have points of contact. And so you can reach out to these people and either talk to them about, this is unbelievable. That says dental recruitment program. Oh, okay, I can see that 541. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. That primary NAICS. I searched on 541, 511, but it came up wrong. So if I search here, let's try it here. 511. There you go. 16 opportunities. That's far more realistic to me. So now I can look in here and I can reach out to some of these people. Even if I'm not overly interested in an opportunity, I can reach out and figure out who these people are and maybe just do an intro call and talk to them about what we do. If I do that, then I'm able to begin to get myself in. The one concern I have when I look at this is that it's mostly Indian Health Services, right? What about all the other agencies? And so I would want to start asking questions around that. I can't cover that in today's training, but bringing it all full circle, right? How do you get found by buyers? Get in here and get registered with the SBX, I think Small Business Customer Experience page for HHS. Get registered in here. Remember, only like 6,000 out of 300,000 small businesses are in here. So if you get in here, you could rise above your competitors. The other thing is, if you want to find people, I shared a bunch of different ways you can find people within an agency. And the last thing is, on this same page, you can find opportunities. One thing I did see is that they've got this teaming portal going. It looks like they're also trying to figure out how do they engage with primes, and primes can communicate that they're looking for subs. So it's all great information, but it begins with you being registered on HHS. Okay, so that's it. If you are looking to work with me and my team, let me stop sharing here. If you're looking to work with me and my team, go check out govconchamber.com. Love to talk with you about our workshop. It's a business development accelerator workshop, but it tends to be for companies doing 2+ million compared to BD in a box that I was just, or GovCon in a box that I was just talking about. That's more for everybody. But the workshop, you really want to be going along. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, say HHS rocks into the chat on your way out. Hope you have a great day. And just remember, government contracting, it is not a secret. It's just a process. I'll see you in the next training.